You always can get a little frustrated, but day 16 or whatever it is, you get a little bit sloppy. And we saw a few more flags than we normally would see, but I guess when you got a full crew, you have a tendency to see those things. But a lot of things we got a chance to evaluate. Really happy to see guys maybe not start off well. I think Evan maybe didn't start off real well, but he found a way to regroup and come back and really finish well.
How important
it looked like that crew was spending some time kind of talking to guys about this would be a penalty, that's not a penalty. Is that the kind of thing you like to see when they come out?
Yeah, you know, I kind of warned them, and I really wanted to see. I was trying to be like the opposing coach, and things that I would have seen on film to say, hey, really watch this. These things defensively, these things offensively, just to really see what they would notice. And you know, I know that's what happens when you get to games, and sometimes out here in day 12, day 13, day 14. You don't have as many officials, and you let some of those things go, and I really wanted to be sure we knew what we were doing.
How important is it for a guy like Evan, for the offense in general, to bounce back? Because it was a rough start, and then they clicked in pretty quick.
Yeah, it was, and that's where, you know, that's why Coach Gino was up, tried to get some guys, you know, not down the sidelines that aren't normally down there, and they said, you need to come down to talk to him, make sure you do, and he didn't, and you know, I think that was, you saw a lot on Dez's part too, to, you know, kind of go over there as a guy that's been in that position and you know, kind of help him get through those things, and you know, you try to make it tough, just like kind of like overtime. I call sack, nothing more than to make it really difficult on Desmond Ridder, because that's hard to do, but when you have those opportunities, you got to do it, and I'm glad Evan got a shot of that today.
Felt like the past 3 or 4 days, Drew Donnelly's name kept popping back up over and over. He looked like he had a little slow start catching the football, but the past week he's been great.
I think he's really gaining some confidence, and you know, he missed a lot of last year with the knee injury, and I think maybe that, you know, can hurt a guy that you know, has been a two-sport athlete, and obviously as good as he was at track, I'm sure he spent a lot of time and doing a lot of that stuff, and now getting just into football, I think maybe he just had to get his feet under him, understanding the speed of the game of football is different as well, and he's really kind of come on this last week or so at camp.
Day one, you said you had 2 teams out here, the more experienced, high-end brand of football guys, and then the lesser experienced guys. Were you able to close the gap out here, do you think?
I think so. I really hope so. I mean, you never really know until you put them out there, but if you went to overtime today, you'd say the 2s beat the 1s. And I mean, not just in the missed field goal, but also then in the 2-point conversion. And you know, so I mean, those are the things you really kind of at the end you like to see, but then those are those things that kind of eat at your stomach a little bit too. So I don't know that I could ever really be happy, because there's always going to be something that you're staring at. So, but I think we got closer with that second crew, and time will tell.
A couple touchdowns. Go ahead, Dan.
Sorry, is this the camp the most dominant MyJ has ever looked?
Yeah, I really do think so. I think that you know, he had to go through a few things, which I think was good, and I just mean an understanding that you know, we might not have him out there all the time, and that's even harder on him, and it doesn't make sense. Some guys would say, well, you know, a guy in his 4th year is, you know, where he is, and maybe he doesn't do as much in camp, but it doesn't do him well when he's not, and it's so we challenged him a little bit in that way, and you know, those were the only ups and downs he had, and then. When he was out there, sometimes it's a little more difficult to get some things done. So it was for both sides at times.
You put him back out there after a while off today, and he gets a strip sack on the first snap.
Yeah, you're not supposed to touch the quarterback there. So
he got the ball.
Yeah, I know, but don't touch money. That's a little too close to that guy. So, but it is what it is, and we're out of it healthy. And no, those are some of those little aggressive things. Anybody else, you probably have been really worried, but. Some of those things kind of happen, and you guys can move on. But yeah, it was hard because, you know, he only played maybe 3 or 4 plays in the first half, maybe 6 plays in the first half. Then you got to come back and do the very end. It's hard to stay engaged, but I give him a lot of credit. That's what those guys did over on the side.
Do you tell the tackles if you can block him, you can block anybody?
Yeah, it's kind of tough at times because you don't want them to lose confidence, especially younger guys as they're not young, but I mean, you know, even a Dylan O'Quinn has moved out to tackle for the first time. John Williams, who's, you know, a young guy, and Tunsil, who's young, and Cam Jones, who are young. You know, it's hard sometimes. I more tell the offense sometimes you got to be smart now. You got to give them a little bit of help and maybe little chips here and there, just in case or when we do run down the opportunity to face a guy like that, or like we did against Georgia. You know, you just got to have some answers in case the guy gets hot.
How do you feel about the O-line after 16 practices here?
I feel good. I just, you know, I wish Jake Renfro would have had a little more reps, and I think that's a tough position. You know, Vinny McConnell had to be asked to to move into center today. We had a few bad snaps, and it makes it difficult for guys that haven't snapped a whole lot, especially when you're playing a defense with a 0 nose and he's just attacking every single time. So Gavin really got a great opportunity to do that stuff too, but I think that put us a little bit tougher situation of making sure we can find and roll those guys to find out who are the best. I wouldn't say 5 this year, I'd say the best 8. So we've got a lot of combinations now. We're just going to have to this next week hone in on, okay, what are the 5? I said going to camp we want to find who the 8 were, so I thought we had more than 5. But now we got to kind of zero in on what's the best spots for everybody.
Any ETA on Jake returning?
No, I think he was back a little bit. He was back last night and been here and there, but just trying to be a little bit smart and safe and getting back into situations that we can. We've had a bunch of those guys. Arquan wasn't out there today, and Kobe still wasn't out there today, but this next week I think they'll be pretty much turned loose.
What's the conversation you're going to have with your guys going back to Clifton? Classes starting, students are going to be there, just to make sure you don't lose any momentum as you're getting this thing going.
We'll be preaching till we turn blue in the face, and there'll be text messages about at 6 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock, just to remind them of all the things that they've worked for and all the things you have on the line, and you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And I'm not saying you got to be a recluse. We understand that. But when you stay together, we're always going to take care of one another. And more than anything, you just got to stay together.
After nearly 3 weeks out here, do you always feel like the team got closer, bonded together, that kind of thing?
There's no doubt. You can't help it but do that, especially when you compete like they do and you fight like they do against each other sometimes. There's a lot of things that just organically happen out here, especially when you don't have anything else. And I think it goes beyond the playing field. I kind of told them after, don't forget all those things. The seniors talked a little bit last night, all those things that they say and words of advice. And those are the things that need as much as anything from being out here.
Good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.